Welcome back. The South African Local Government Association, KwaZulu-Natal, has expressed shock at the approval of a 13% water tariff increase for Umgeni water. SALGA says the hike will further drown the already struggling consumer. For more on this, I'm joined now by Thami Ntuli, Chairperson of SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal. Mpemba, good evening. Good to have you. And thank you very much for coming on. Just for clarity, is it 3% or is it 13%? What is the increase?
Mfumbati and your viewers, good afternoon. The maximum tariff increase is 10%, which 13% in fact, which we are actually saying as SALGA. It's a blow, another blow to the consumers, as you have correctly said. Umgeni water has made in the previous financial year a profit of more than R1 billion. And even if they had not had to do any increase this year, it was not going to affect any services that they are rendering to the municipalities. You know, we're not only as SALGA complaining because this is going to impact on the municipalities themselves, but we are looking at the status of our society, because municipalities will be forced, when the rates in fact increase from where they buy bulk water, they will be forced to make up for that one by also increasing the tariffs to actually the consumers and even the SMMEs. Local economic development will be impacted adversely. We have been lamenting as SALGA because of many factors, which seems to be not favoring the improvement or the development of the local economy, which might assist in creating some local job opportunities. Considering the issue of the hikes in ESCOM rates or tariffs, and the hikes also in the interest rates, and also the other factors such as the load shedding, which are making things very difficult for the local economy and the municipalities who have a responsibility to ensure that they do something for the development of the local economy. They are not going to enjoy any fruits if things go this way.
So, but why do you think your request was unsuccessful? Maybe looking closer into the tariff setting process, how you could have been better involved and maybe have had a much better input in that process?
Well, in fact, even if we might have made a meaningful input, those who are making decisions, I think they did not consider the factors that really affect the ordinary citizens, the factors that impacts on even the capacity of local government to deliver water services to the people. You recall that as SALGA in KZN, we once made a call that in KwaZulu-Natal, the other factors that contributes to the failure of municipalities to provide water is the aging infrastructure. Apart from the floods, which caught us, in fact, still struggling to repair or to maintain the aging infrastructure. Our call was that we needed an additional funding, which had to be specific for, in fact, trying to resuscitate the aging infrastructure. And up to so far, there is no such support to local municipalities. When then you see this being added as a burden, not only the municipalities will be affected, the ordinary citizens of the country who are actually needing water or drinking water on a daily basis, which is a basic human right that people must have access to clean water. But they won't have access even if the infrastructure is there, if they have to pay what they cannot afford. That is why, as SALGA in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we were saying, even if Umgeni had to receive that approval, but we thought they had to really reconsider for the sake of the ordinary citizen, not to introduce any hikes.
Now, let's look at KwaZulu-Natal in particular. I mean, you've already mentioned the aging infrastructure, eThekwini in particular, being one of those municipalities that we are constantly looking at as far as the sewage crisis. Now, is there a possibility that the work of Umgeni and this particular tariff increase is not purely driven by profit, but maybe driven by that need to raise extra funding to deal with some of those infrastructure backlogs?
Well, our view is that to deal with other challenges of the infrastructure, the profit they actually made in the previous financial year is sufficient to actually address as such. Hence, we believe that this is really a profit-driven, and it has little to do with the demands which are there for them to actually attend to the issue of the infrastructure. And very unfortunately is that even if there could be an explanation, they do not in fact reticulate water to the users. Municipalities are having that function. And then when municipalities will have a strain of affording, in fact, the tariffs, so the end user of the water will be negatively affected.
Yeah.
And that will be really, in fact, impacting on the life of the ordinary citizens who are residing in those municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal.
Now, we saw with the electricity tariff hike, if I'm not mistaken, some organizations actually wanting to challenge that in a court of law. Now, you are part of the government infrastructure, so to speak, as SALGA. So I wonder if, as a government entity yourself, you would want to challenge another government entity in court over this tariff hike.
Well, as SALGA, we have been making this call for a very long time, that serious considerations are not, in fact, taken into cognizance when it comes to the issue of the ESCOM tariffs, which are quite very expensive when you compare it with other countries. Our electricity is very expensive. And the unfortunate part is that the service provider is struggling not because there is no money in terms of what they are charging the municipalities or they are charging the people, because of their actually internal challenges. And the South Africans or the KwaZulu-Natal people have then to pay for such. Hence, we really felt, as local government, anything that affects our work, such as the issue of developing the small emerging small businesses on the note of local economic development, something that is threatening any hope of having some local opportunities being actually introduced by the local emerging businesses. We have no reason not to challenge that. Hence is our view that things are not really coming positive for the people who are still struggling. You'll recall that we once raised a concern or registered a concern about the realization of the tax of some of the imports products, which are also produced by the locals, wherein we were saying any hope that we had that local businesses will be able to also produce and then, in fact, introduce job opportunities for the local communities.
Yeah.
In fact, is threatened by such conduct. Hence, even the one that we are raising, the issue of the electricity hikes, while we have the load shedding, or those things, in fact, are not positive for the ordinary citizens of this province.
Pemba, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on this afternoon. That is Thami Ntuli. He is the chairperson of SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal. Coming up.